Alright guys, this is Coach Day. Just wanted to post a video that explained the instructions of today's assignment. You should be able to print this out. If you can't print it, then just go ahead and write the equations and write the tables right here. And here's our goal. We're going to change equations from standard form into slope-intercept form into y equals. And then we're going to look at the graph and look at the tables. So, let's take, let's just start out with number 12. Remember, there's two steps to change this from standard form to slope-intercept form. We got to move our x, and then divide by the y. So if we move our x here, the opposite of positive 1x is minus 1x. Bring this down. Now remember, we cannot combine a negative 2 with a negative 1x because this is an x and this doesn't. So you're just going to have to write it like this. And since this one didn't have a number in front of the y, we don't have to divide by that number. So we've got it in y equals. Now for your points, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick a 0, and then I want you to pick 1 point above it and 1 point below it. It should be in common factor with the denominator of your slope. Since our denominator here would be 1, because remember, any whole number would be over 1, we can pick any value. So a value below it would be negative 1, a value above it would be positive 1. Now if you have a graphing calculator at home, that's great. You're going to go to y equals, you're going to type in this equation, then you're going to hit graph, and you should be able to see the graph. Now you're going to go to second graph, and that'll pull up your table. This is in blue. And we're just going to plug in the values for our table. So 1 above 0, 1 below 0. So our y value here was negative 1. Our y value at 0 is negative 2. And our y value at 1 is negative 3. If you don't have a graphing calculator at home, here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to pick 3 values for your x, and you're just going to have to plug it in for that x to figure out what your y is. So for example, we would get that if I plugged in negative 1, negative 1 times negative 1 minus 2. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Positive 1 minus 2 is equal to negative 1. So you're just going to calculate it. If you don't have a graphing calculator like this to pull up the table, then you'll just have to do the calculations by plugging in for x. Let me do another example. Let's try number 14. Now, number 14, it's got a negative 4x. So to move this x, what we're going to have to do is add 4x. Those cancel. Bring this down. So we get 3y equals 4x plus 12. Now we do have a number in front of y, so we're going to have to divide by that number. So divide by 3. We get y equals 4 over 3x, and 12 divided by 3 is 4, plus 4. Now for our x values, I'm always going to put 0 in the middle. And I'll do this one without using the graphing calculators for the table part. So I need to pick a value above x, and a value above 0, so a negative, and a below 0. Give me a positive. Now our denominator here is 3, so it's going up 4 over 3. If you want to get whole numbers, what we're going to have to do is select a multiple of 3. So how about we do negative 3 and positive 3. And that'll get us our whole number values for y. So when I plug in negative 3, it's going to be 4 over 3 times negative 3 plus 4. That's going to give me negative 12 over 3, which is negative 4 plus 4, so that'll actually give me 0. When I plug in 0, 4/3 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. And then when I plug in positive 3, 4 over 3 times 3, that'll be 12 divided by 3, which is 4, plus 4, which would give me 8. Okay, so if your denominator on your slope is something other than 1, you want to pick a multiple of that denominator. Pick a negative and a positive for that. And that'll get us our points. Just to show you that it works like that, I'm going to go back to y equals. I'm going to plug in the new equation. Y equals 4 over 3x plus 4. So there's my graph. It's working on the graph. We're going to go now to table. So I'm going to push second graph and go to the table. As you can see, at 0, we get the value 4. At negative 1, we get a fraction. Skip it. But at negative 3, we got the value 0. And it matches up with our table here. So let's go all the way up to positive 3. See, at positive 1 is fraction, 2 we get a fraction, but at positive 3 we get the value 8. So if you don't have a calculator at home that will do graph in tables, then you're just going to plug it in and get your answers for y by hand. Okay? So I've worked 2 for you. I want you guys to work the rest. Good luck.